I begin to track this story with the authorities. If the cops know something, they aren't letting me in on it. They're friendly enough, but they offer me nothing to work with. It makes sense. I mean, I'm a stranger with a camera. Well, we're sort of off on a wild goose chase, you might say. But something officially happened. A woman was officially accused of being a vampire. Now, I haven't seen a photo. I don't have a file in my hands. We couldn't get that at the police station. But we're on the way to the captain or the representative of the region where this woman was accosted. And hopefully, I can get something a little more substantial. Imagine traveling over 50 kilometers on trails like this multiple occasions. You're either a manananggal or you're one tough old lady. This man holds the same position as this guy, but he's not nearly as forthcoming. He doesn't seem to want me there.
So the woman has a nervous breakdown.
So to get the story straight, the woman lived 40 kilometers away. She had a nervous breakdown, and then she wandered into this town late at night. And people said, "What is this woman doing here? She's acting strange. She's far from her home. She must be Manananggal." Captain says it's all a misunderstanding, and he's stonewalling me. He wants me to go on home. But then, a new character enters the scene. This lady arrives and has something to say. It appears she disagrees with the captain. She thinks he's hiding something. She wants to set the record straight. The local police officer who found the woman in this town whipped her with a stingray tail under the assumption that she was a Manananggal, that she was a vampire. She attempted to climb a banana tree. She first hugged a banana tree and then attempted to climb it. And then another story that at this point, the man somehow lost the woman, that she escaped him, and she turned up in another village. And then perhaps later she was accosted, physically brought to a police station, and her family members came and picked her up. The longer I stay, the more people show up to pitch in an opinion. There are strong feelings on the matter. I'm starting to feel like a detective in a supernatural murder mystery. I just hope I'm the lead character. The lead never dies. Supporting cast, not so fortunate. The story's getting a little more interesting. According to somebody else in the group, that when she was caught the second time, she was caught on a rooftop. Now, why is that interesting? Because the Manananggal doesn't bite somebody like your traditional Western vampire. The Manananggal lands on a rooftop and lowers a lizard-like tongue deep through the tiles into the house, pierces the belly of a pregnant woman living in that home, and sucks the fetus out. That's their modus operandi. So the fact that she was caught on a rooftop the second time lends a lot of credence to this belief that she was in fact a Manananggal. Now, if you grew up with a roof like this one or something made of a hard substance like wood, you might not catch the full power of this story, of this line of this story. People here live with thatched roofs, probably constantly hear noises inside those roofs, little rodents and lizards. And the fact that that space, that barrier to the outside world is penetrable, creates a suspicion in our naturally superstitious mind. Kind of like your childhood suspicion that that gap underneath the bed might house a monster. So take this house, for example. People live with this knowledge that there might be things in the roof, that something could come through the roof, and then they hear a local legend of a vampire. It's easy to make that link. What if this creature was on my roof? What if it was able to penetrate down through my roof and get to me? Worse yet, what if it could get to my kids or my unborn baby? And in a Catholic region with poor medical care, who would you blame for a miscarriage? Who would you blame for a hush-hush backdoor abortion? The Manananggal or an Aswan is an easy culprit. Before I jump to conclusions, I figure it's worth meeting the man who confronted the lady on that dark country road. I find the man working the nearby rice fields, an average-sized guy of calm demeanor
Hi, John.
named Ruel.
Can you tell me about that night? What happened?
Okay, so he was on his way home working, and he met a woman who attempted to attack him. So he fought back.
Okay.
He had the tail of the stingray with him.
What happened when you hit her with the tail? How did she react?
She screamed. The tanod, or when the community police brought the lady to the station, some whip marks were still visible. But the following morning, they were gone.
They were gone.
He's convinced that what he encountered was an aswang. He leaves the judgment or the discretion to others. But as far as he is concerned, he believes.
This to me is fascinating. Nowhere in America, or even in Transylvania, could you find someone who believes in a vampire. But in this village, the creatures are thriving.
And you believe in Aswang?
Yes, of course.
And not just here, I now recall seeing the stingray tail before, back in Manila at the Arbolario. The aswang apparently are everywhere.